lived a young girl named Clara. She was the only child of her mother, who was a single mother and later remarried to a man whom she never knew was a monster. Clara was so happy that she has finally gotten a father figure in her life. Her mother, who is always busy and leaving her alone most times with her new husband. Initially, her stepfather was nice and gives her everything she needed. It never occurred to her that he had a mission. As time passed, Clara began to notice a change in her stepfather's behavior. He would often find excuses to be alone with her, and his touch would linger a little too long. At first, Clara brushed it off as mere play, but deep down, she knew something wasn't right. One day, while her mother was away at work, Clara's stepfather approached her with a sinister grin. He told her that he needed to teach her some important lesson and that she should never tell her mother about their special time together. Clara instinct screamed at her to run, but her stepfather's grip was too strong. "Father, Father," cried Clara, "you are hurting me. It's painful. Please, Father, I'm your daughter. Don't do this to me. You promised to protect me and take care of me. Why doing this to me?" Father still has his way and left her on the floor, helpless. As the days went by, Clara's stepfather's action became more and more brazier. He would make her feel guilty for not wanting to spend time with him, and he would often make her mother believe that Clara was being disobedient. Clara felt trapped and alone, unsure of whom to run to. This continued every night while Clara's mother was away. Clara's father would always have his way and then leave Clara alone to cry to herself. Clara could not tell anyone. Despite her fear, Clara knew she had to find a way to escape her stepfather's clutches. She began to look for opportunities to talk to her mother, to tell her about the horrors she was facing. But every time she tried, her stepfather would be there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce, because she was threatened by her stepfather never to tell anyone what encountered that night. Clara's world was turned upside down, and she was forced to confront the harsh reality of her situation. She was just a young girl caught in a web of deceit and abuse, but she refused to give up, and she vowed to find a way to break free from her stepfather's grasp, no matter what it took. Clara's world was shattered the day her father's eye turned on her with a sinister intent. The man who was supposed to be her rock, her protector, and her guiding light became the monster that haunted her every night. The memories of that fateful night still lingered in her mind like an open wound. She had cried out for help, but her voice was muffled by the sound of her own heartbeat. She had begged for mercy, but her father's hands had closed around her wrist like a vice. As the days turned into weeks, Clara's smile began to fade. Her laughter was silenced, and her eyes lost their sparkle. She became a shadow of her former self, haunted by the memories of that terrible night. But Clara refused to be broken. She found solace in her art, pouring her emotions onto the canvas. With every brush stroke, she began to heal. With every color, she began to find her voice. One day, Clara gathered the courage to speak out against her father. She stood tall, her voice shaking with emotions, as she told her story to the world. The words poured out of her like a river, cleansing her of the shame and the guilt. As she spoke, Clara felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She felt the chains of silence broken and the shackles of fear falling away. She was no longer a victim, she was a survivor. Her mother was so angry with her husband. She felt so sorry for Clara. She begged her to forgive her for not being there for her, for not giving her a listening ear. Clara's story inspired others to speak out against their own monsters. Her voice became a beacon of hope, shining brightly in the darkness. And though the scars of that terrible night would always remain, Clara knew that she was no longer alone. She was a warrior, armed with the power of her own voice. Thank you for listening and viewing my story. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more of my interesting story.